Hello to the faithful followers of our YouTube channel. Today we are talking to Rick Pierce of National General. They are providers of auto, home, and health insurance. Rick is also on the board of the insurance school at Appalachian State University. So he has a wealth of knowledge to share with us today, and I hope you enjoy what he has to say to us. All right, so Rick, why don't you just take a moment to tell us a little bit about what it is exactly that you do with National General and what it takes to do that sort of job?
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I'm Rick Pierce. My official title, if you saw my business card, it would say I'm Senior Vice President of Agency Development, and that encompasses a lot of things with our company. But I work very closely with independent agents, really across the country, heavily in the Southeast, and particularly in North Carolina and Virginia. So I am responsible and have folks that work with me on agency training, as well as training our internal people here that work closely with independent agencies. I also assist agencies as one of National General's almost a program that we have that helps agencies that are in the buying and selling arena as well. So I serve as almost a free consultant for our agency. So it gives me the ability to learn a lot about how agencies operate, how agencies that are preparing for retirement are seeking to perpetuate or to pass it along to someone else. And for agencies that are interested in growing organically, but also growing through acquisition, I assist with that as well. I don't negotiate prices and all that, but I'm a lot like a professional matchmaker. Some people call me the eharmony.com guy of the insurance business. So, but I do a lot of things. I've worked closely with pricing, with underwriting, with product development, with claims. Our agency back or carrier back office with customer service, and really I've had the good fortune of having experience in pretty much every side of our business.
Sounds like you do it all.
Well, some folks may argue with you as I stick my nose into a lot of things. Maybe I don't do it all, but I certainly have I have an impact on many of the things that we do.
Oh, okay. So tell me, is this what you always planned to do as you were growing up? What did you say you wanted to be when you grew up?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. Well, this is interesting. I guess at least it is to me. I grew up in a funeral home. My dad was a funeral director. In fact, I actually lived upstairs in a funeral home for 5 years growing up. So this is what's so interesting about it. It wasn't the right business for me. But and so often people will tell you insurance selects them rather than them selecting insurance. And that I was that case. I needed to find a job, had a friend in the industry that worked for what was then Antagon. She said I would be perfect for the job that they were looking for. I said, what does it do? And she says, I don't know. I said, how much does it pay? And she said, I don't know that, but you'd be perfect. And so anyway, I got an interview just by sheer luck, ended up in the insurance business, took a direction down the path of understanding the back office of an insurance company and how it works, and then ultimately got into sales and marketing and the product. But what I learned really quickly, and I love to tell this to anyone considering insurance, we're in the people business. You know, we don't make widgets. We sell promises. And what I love, and this is what I learned, it all sort of fits together. My father, as a funeral director, helped people at their lowest time many times. You know, it's when you lose a loved one, you're standing by to help and guide them through the process. That's what he did. I didn't realize it for many years that even though I'm not a funeral director, I'm doing the same thing. That's what insurance is about, helping people. And I suppose it's in my DNA. And anyone who is looking towards insurance as a career, think about it that way. Is your job is the privilege of being able to help people sometimes at their lowest times, and be there with solutions, with money, with guidance to help get them back on their feet, no matter what their whether it's a property loss or a liability loss or loss of a life is. That's what we do. And it's to me, just the luckiest guy in the world that I didn't strategize on that as being what I was going to do, but my gosh, I did it. And there's never been a look back. I know I landed in the right place.
That is so awesome to hear. So you kind of just touched on this, but let's see if we can elaborate a little bit. If you could go back and give your former self advice, just getting into this industry, what would you tell yourself? What do you wish you would have known just coming into it?
I think I wished I had understood sooner than later, what it was about insurance that was going to grab me and hold me so tightly. Mm-hmm. And that was this whole thing about, frankly, I'll tell you, claims people, the people who do claims for an insurance company or even in an agency, probably see it more clearly than anyone else, because they're on that, they're the ones, the insurance business is not about collecting it's not just about collecting premiums or about putting out paper or billing people or whatever. It's about being there when people need you. And the claims people, claim service reps and so forth on the side of the insurance business are the ones that really see the product every day. I never did a stint in claims officially, but I think that probably would have helped me to understand it all early on from the eyes of the customer, from the eyes of the real product of what we sell. That makes sense?
It does. It does. It makes perfect sense. You're giving us a lot of good information. I'm having to throw out some of my questions because you're answering them all at once.
Oh my goodness! I can see. I can see things in the no.
So, what specific skills, I guess, besides being a people person, but what specific skills do you think that someone should look for within themselves or plan to build if they're looking to get into the insurance industry?
I think, and I think it's important. This is part of one of the things I do in my job is, everybody's, I'll call it personality or their style is sort of formed, I think, in an early time. Is you might be an analytical type person, or you might be somebody that's highly expressive, or you might be a pleaser, more of an amiable kind of a personality, or you might just be a hard charging driver, and those are the four that we work on. And y'all been through all this kind of stuff. But I think knowing what really fulfills you it's not that we can't do them all, because we all do all of those. We meet the personalities of people all, no matter what they are. But I think finding that job or that career that you are hardwired to just work for it. And I'll give you a great example is the insurance industry has everything covered in terms of how you might be hardwired, from finance to claims handling to legal to, if you're a math person, a strong math person, a high analytic, it's got it all. If you are a sales personality or someone who loves meeting people or highly expressive, there are enormous sales opportunities and customer service opportunities and everything in our industry that it literally you can fit your hardwire to anything in the insurance industry. And in an agency, some agencies have claims people specifically. Some agencies have salespeople. They have CSRs that are just for the service side of the business and not necessarily sales. No matter what, but I think anybody should, whether it's through outside or inside or outreach programs or internet or whatever, seek to understand clearly what your hardwire is. And usually when there's a strong hardwire like mine, I've got a strong hardwire on something. Look, I know it. And I know that my opposite is tough for me to work with sometimes. And chores that require that are really hard for me, but I can do them. But it's not something I can't wait to get to. It might be that thing that I know I have to do. So, but figure it out for what works for you. And then, seek out people that can guide you in the insurance business, because it's all there. It's really one of those, it's all there. Exactly. Find a good mentor. That's a great solution.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what I hear you saying is if you're interested in working in the insurance industry, there is a place for you. You just
Absolutely.
have to get to know yourself.
Without
All right. So how has the industry changed since you started? What are some of the biggest things that have changed?
I love that question too, because, that is one of the, being a senior guy as I am now, and I'm talking about age and experience. I do have the perspective of looking back, almost 40 years ago, of what it was like. Of of course, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have email. We had one fax machine in the entire building, one. And that was only the fax. We called it the facsimile machine, and that was only the fax legal documents. That was it. Everything was handwritten, snap out. Probably one of the biggest departments in the company was the mail room that sorted mail to get to people. So I think when it comes to the insurance side, the promise and delivering on the promise is still very similar. Really and truly, it's very similar. All of the technology is the biggest change, without a doubt. Technology of how you get from making the promise to delivering the promise, all the things that happen in the middle, I think that's the biggest change that I would see. The fact of being good, fair, honest, trustworthy people making a promise and delivering the promise, exactly the same as it was, 40 years ago or 100 years ago for that matter. I think the products as they're designed, they've gotten infinitely more intuitive from the standpoint of, see, insurance in pricing and putting together a policy and putting together a price and so forth. It's all about the crystal ball. It's all about predicting what's going to happen in the future. And so with all the analytics, all the things that happen now with, come on, we didn't even have computers. There was one desktop computer on the floor where I worked. When I came to the company in 1982, there was one computer in a cubicle that you had to sign up for to use in 30-minute increments. One, mind you. So literally, and that was the beginning of the desktop computer age. And now you think about it, we literally had a typing center that if I wanted to write a memo, I had to pick up my phone and dictate it on my phone, and somebody listened to it and typed it, mailed it back to me, and then I would get it. I'd scratch out words and edit and everything. I'd send it back to them. They would make edits and so forth. That's the way it was. Literally. So now, with email and printers and desktop computers and everything. Just think how different that is. And golly, I can't believe that I'm old enough to be telling these stories, but honestly, it hadn't been that long ago. It just hadn't been that long.
No, it's rapidly changing.
Yes, it
And
is.
here I am working from home now.
Yeah, me too. I am as well.
Oh, yeah. All right. Before we move on, because I want to hear about your serving on the board at Appalachian State. Jessica, did you have any more specific questions as far as getting into insurance goes?
Well, it's not really getting in, but you've had so much experience. I want to know where you think insurance is going. What do you think we're going to see in the future?
Oh my goodness. I think we're seeing it now. I think that we're seeing, and it's not that the pandemic has changed it all. I think it's accelerated a lot of things. I think some call it disruptors. I just call it evolution. I think there's going to be more and more ways that people can buy and secure insurance. There's always going to be agencies, local agencies. Golly, I've been hearing it now for 40 years is that, in 10 years, there's not going to be any more agencies. Yes, there will be. 10 years from now, 20 years, 50 years from now, there's going to be local agencies. But the internet was the great equalizer of reaching people, of doing research. So, a lot of people research. They might buy online. They might buy from an agent, but you have a much more informed customer. We as consumers of insurance today, we're informed. If we can't miss it, insurance, because every night, every third ad is an insurance company trying to sell us car insurance, right? So people have much more access to information, but we are, mind you, people want to make insurance sound so incredibly simple. It's not. Insurance is not simple. The buying process is, we're getting more and more data to help us predict what someone's risk category really is. And so with that becomes more and more things to understand and answer. But it's not an easy business. There's a reason for one to sell insurance that they have to be licensed, because it is a really important decision of whether you have insurance or not, what insurance you have, and the breadth of your insurance. And so I am not going to be one of those people that says, hey, this is easy, this is simple, because it's not. It takes smart, focused, and I would say highly professional people to be able to do the right thing, when it comes to insurance. Did I answer your question?
You did. You did very well.
Okay.
All right. So if I understand correctly, you also serve on the board for the insurance school at Appalachian State University in Boone. Is that correct?
I do. Yeah. And I can tell you a little bit about that. First, I did graduate from Appalachian State a really long time ago. I think it was before I could spell insurance. But since, and a little bit of a public service announcement, Appalachian State has a fantastic insurance program. I'm actually on the board of advisors for the Brantley Risk and Insurance Center. And that is, it's not really a part of the university. It is privately funded, but it is on the university property and works very closely with the insurance students. That's a part of the College of Business. And so I was actually invited to be a board member for, I think, a couple of reasons. One, I am a graduate of App State. And number two is my company, National General has been a very important part of North Carolina for a long, long time. And I'm very, I know a lot of people in the industry. And I think I've reached that point in my career is that I have a little more to give back, perhaps. And the invitation happened at the time that I was just so excited about this chapter of my career of being able to give back and be able to give, a little bit of the rear view mirror insight, as well as hopefully the windshield insight as well. So that's what I do on that board, and it's a volunteer board, and it's with some fantastic people from all parts of the industry.
Okay. So you feel like you've been able to make a difference through that board?
Well, you might have to ask them, but I do, just because I do identify with the students very well. One of my roles is I actually work in the I'm a co-chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So there's a very focused effort on the part of Appalachian State, and certainly in the insurance and business side, is to do outreach and involvement of students in a underserved or an underserved population of students in the D&I space. And so I actually have served as a mentor to students in that, and have recruited mentors from the industry to help students, through their education and through their journey towards career in the insurance field.
That is good to hear. We're actually doing an interview next week regarding diversity in insurance. So,
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help you with anything and involve you and engage you with App State and with the people on this committee and everybody. It's just an amazing group of people up there. I'm telling you, and the students are so smart. And the students are so engaged, and they have a fraternity. It's a Gamma Iota Sigma, which is exclusively really for the insurance side of the business, and it's very active. And they do trips in non-COVID years. They go in one part of the year. They'll go to London and take a group of kids to London to go and visit Lloyd's and so forth. And then in another part of the year, they'll go to Bermuda. And they'll take it's fantastic. I've never been, but they probably won't let me go. No, but I hear stories of the unbelievable experience that these students get when they go on these trips.
Okay, so we're kind of winding down as far as time goes, but I do have a question about resources. We're trying to just collect a list of resources to provide. It could be maybe financial for students just getting into the industry, or maybe for somebody who's even re-careering. Maybe they have student debt from a previous, degree, and they've decided to go into insurance instead. Any advice as far as that goes?
There are so many organizations, all kinds of trade organizations focused on the insurance industry, depending on where you are. You can start with some of the independent insurance agents and the professional insurance agents are two places that you can start sometimes. If you're looking into it, most states have affiliates that sort of roll up to a national organization. National General's involved with both of these organizations as well as many others. A lot of times there's scholarships that are available through these organizations. There's some carriers that might have scholarships. There's internships available. There is I don't know that there's, Sarah, I don't know if there's any one place that you go to say, where is all the money and support? Mm-hmm. But you can take it on as a research project and reach out to people like me and mm-hmm. say, or someone in the industry, just reach out and say, I'm looking for something that can help support me to make a career in insurance. And I can tell you, this is a very approachable industry. Is if you ask people to help you, they are going to help you. As I told you, it's at the core of what we do. We're people that help. That's just what this insurance industry is about. And so I think any student looking for that, it's just a matter of doing a little research and asking some questions, and you will find support.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, so is there anything that you would like to add to this interview that we have not asked you?
Well, you guys all know I'm very shy, and it's hard for me to speak publicly. No, it's my problem. I don't know when to shut up. No, I feel like that. I really feel like that I am a spokesperson for my company, and I'm a spokesperson for our industry. I love the industry. I love the agents that we work with because of the value that they bring to their customers every single day. It's a privilege for me to even have a chance to sit with you guys and just talk about this and talk about the future of the industry. And I use that analogy of the rear view mirror in the windshield. I didn't make this up, but there's a really good reason why the windshield's a lot bigger than the rear view mirror. It's important to look behind you. It's very important, but it really is the windshield's about the future. And this is a wonderful industry. It's not going away. You can look at some that have sunsetted because of technology or whatever. Insurance is going to be here. It's going to be here. It's been here through the pandemic. It's been through everything that happens in our world. Insurance plays such a critical role, and it's a real honor to be a part of the industry.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I hope something that I provided is helpful, to your viewers. And I'm always available. I'm rick.pierce@ngic.com, and anyone can reach out to me at any time. I am more than happy to talk to anyone. It's been a real privilege for me.
This has been a wonderful and very informative interview with Rick Pierce, who is a senior VP at National General, who provides auto, home, and health insurance. Rick Pierce also serves on the board at the insurance school at Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. I hope you have found this interesting and that you continue to tune in to see what we have to say about Insurance Careers Month. You guys have a wonderful day.